If you find it hard to find family-friendly recipes when you're cooking without gluten, dairy, eggs, nuts, soy, or meat, then this is the episode for you. Stay tuned as the girls show you 3 of their favourite main meals. First up, it's Lisa. She's going to show you how to make a pastry-less shepherd's pie.
One of my absolute favourite dishes growing up was when my mum would make shepherd's pie. Now, I actually am going to make it a little bit different than she does, but it's still one of our family's favourite meals, and it's still something I look forward to. And the best thing of all is that it's actually a pastry-less pie, so you still get that enjoyment and that warm, comforting feeling of having a pie, but you don't have to worry about the gluten and the dairy if those things aren't suitable for your diet. But the thing I love is just how many veggies I can cram into it. Anyway, let's get on over to the stove and I'll talk you through the recipe. So we've got the olive oil heating up. Now we're going to add some onions. And we're just going to get them softening until they go translucent. Once they start looking like that, then I'm going to add in some sweet potato. I'd like to get that browning as well. And some carrot and some pumpkin. You could add anything in. I've added kale, I've added corn, peas, whatever you've got on hand, even broccoli. If it starts to look like it's sticking a little bit, we're going to add a little bit of stock. So we really want to give that some time just to soften up. If you'd like to speed things up a bit, you could pop the lid on and then just come back to it every couple of minutes to give it a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. They're getting quite soft now. So now I'm going to add the rest of the flavouring elements to the base of this pie. I'm going to add some port to this one, but if alcohol is not a part of your diet, by all means, replace the port with something like this. This is the all-grain gluten-free gravy mix. It's free of all the things that I'm avoiding from my recipes, but if you've got a favourite gravy that's suitable for your diet style, by all means you could use that one too. If you do use port and you've got some dietary sensitivities or foods that you need to avoid, make sure you read the label, because sometimes some of the finishing agents in some of the alcohols include egg products or dairy products or even fish or shellfish. So always read the labels to make sure that the one that you're using is suitable for you. And if you want some more information on that, you can check out our cold drinks episode, because I go through all those labels in that one there. I'm also going to add my herbs in now as well. So I've got a couple of bay leaves, I've got some rosemary, and I've got some thyme. You could add any other herbs that you like. You can add fresh ones, you can add dry ones. There's lots of flexibility here. So basically, while that alcohol is cooking off, but those delicious flavours are just working their magic, we're going to add the remaining vegetables. So I've got some diced zucchini, and I've also got some diced celery. And the last little member of this team is some lentils. I've got approximately a can there. So now we're just going to leave that for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so that everything can absorb those yummy flavours. So while this is all getting ready, I like to prepare my sweet potato, or sometimes I do them in advance before I start making this bit, so it can cook while this is cooking. All I do is I pierce it with a fork and put it on high in the oven for about an hour. So this sauce is starting to thicken really nicely. Now, because I put the lentils in early, what's happened is they've broken down as they've been cooking along, and them falling apart has sort of helped the sauce thicken. Now, the other way of doing this is to withhold the lentils until the end. And instead, if you need to thicken your sauce at all, you could use something like arrowroot, which is gluten-free. So I'm going to give you that option, but just have a look at how beautiful and thick that is. That's amazing, it's ready to go. For the top of this potato pie, I have got a sweet potato, So it's finished roasting, it's cooled down, so obviously I can just peel the skin off easily. Of course you could use white potato if you like. I actually love using sweet potato, especially when I'm making a pie that I'm going to have as the whole family with the kids, because I find the kids prefer sweet potato over white potato. So it's totally up to you if you want to make a white potato topping. So we're now going to mash it with a fork. So I've just added a little bit of rice milk. You don't want to add too much because you don't want too much moisture to come out and then make your pie all runny in the oven. But just enough so that it can be a bit more whipped and a bit more broken up. Put a little bit of your pie filling in. You don't want to overfill it. This is a perfect serve for one person, or little children, you might want to give them half each. Okay, so now we're just going to put our topping on. So there you go, now it's ready to go in the oven. We're going to put it in the oven at 180 for about 30 minutes. Really just want the top to sort of crisp up a little tiny bit and go a little bit golden. So there you go, and you've just seen how easy it is to actually make a really tasty pie without gluten, dairy, soy, eggs, nuts or meat. Hope you enjoyed as much as our family does.
No. 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 Hayley's going to show us how to make a quiche with no eggs, no butter and no flour. Oh, and it's raw.
If you've been following a vegan lifestyle for a while, or you have some common food intolerances, you probably haven't eaten quiche for a while. Now today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a raw vegan quiche without the use of any dairy, wheat or eggs. First up, I'm going to blitz up the dry ingredients. I've got some almonds, some walnuts, and a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to blitz this all up until it forms a nice fine powder. Now that looks about right. Now I'm going to add the warmed up coconut oil. Just going to add that in whilst I'm processing. The aim of this is to blend it up until you can form a shape from the batter. And that way we can mould it around our quiche tins. Now this recipe will work perfectly in a full-size pie tin. However, I'm going to use these little cuties today. Now make sure that you take out the blade from the processor before scooping out the mixture. Press it around the tin like so. This is a lot like what we did with the cheesecake base in the cheesecake episode. Now this mixture is really soft at the moment, but once we put it into the fridge, the coconut oil is going to set hard. It's time to pop these into the fridge to set whilst we make the filling. First up, I've got some raw cashews which I've soaked overnight. Now this is going to provide the basis of the quiche and substitute for the eggs and the cream that you usually have, and some zucchini and capsicum. And to give it some extra flavour, I've got some sun-dried tomatoes, some tamari, clove of garlic, some onion powder, some white miso paste, and some nutritional yeast flakes. Now I'm going to squeeze in some lemon juice. This is going to help bring out the flavour of the savoury yeast flakes. And now I'm going to add some water. This is going to help get everything moving and help it blend. I'm going to blend it on high until we get a nice smooth consistency. Now that's perfect, it's ready to pop into our bases. Now any leftovers can be used as a dip or a sandwich spread. It's very versatile. So just pop them in the fridge for another hour or so and they'll be just right. Now these babies are ready to be eaten. They're great for your next party or perfect served with a side salad for a light summer's meal.
Now it's Glenys. She's going to show us how to make a delicious Mediterranean chickpea casserole.
We're going to make a really quick and versatile chickpea casserole, and it only takes 20 minutes to make, so you'll have it on the table in 30 minutes for the family. So I've got some drained and rinsed chickpeas, some tomatoes, some diced onions, some tomato paste, some capsicum, and some dry roasted spices. I've got in here some cumin, paprika, some salt and pepper, and just a touch of chilli. You can add as little or as much or even no chilli, just to your desired taste. And garlic that's been slow roasted in the oven for 40 minutes. So it's got a really subtle sweet garlic flavour. So let's get cooking this casserole. I'm going to saute off these onions. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit so it's a nice slow process, and I'll make it a little bit sweeter. Our onions have nicely cooked down, and I'm going to add in our spices. That only takes about 30 seconds to a minute. I'm going to add in our red peppers, and so they'll get a lovely coating of the flavour as well. That's bubbling on the stove nicely. Time to add our tomatoes and tomato paste. We're going to leave this on the stove now to simmer for about 15 minutes or so. Our casserole is simmering away on the stove top, so this gives us a great time to prepare our garlic. It has cooled down now sufficiently, so it's as simple as squeezing it out into a bowl. I'm just going to give these a light crush with a fork. I'm now going to add some chickpeas, as many or as few as you want. So I'm going to add about 2/3 of this bowl. This is looking and smelling delicious. And just wait till I add in this garlic. And there we have our chickpea stew. Just a little bit of fresh garnish. I'm going to serve this with some beautifully steamed green vegetables and some crusty bread. And for a Middle Eastern flavour, try sprinkling on some lemon juice and some chopped up mint leaves for that fresh flavour.
So there you have it. 3 fantastic main meal alternatives. So now it's your turn. Give them a try and let us know what you think. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest, head on over to the website. And if you want to know what the girls are going to be doing next, make sure you fill out your details and we'll send you our newsletter.
Oh, wow, yes, that smells amazing.
And the only clue in this segment is in the dialogue.
Just attempt with slow. We can get on with the show.
Should I just do it wrong?